First-time cruisers often make mistakes that can impact their cruise experience. Even seasoned cruisers sometimes fall victim to these. I've curated 20 of the most common mistakes, so let's check those out. Ahoy, travelers! It's Amy here to help you make your travel experience a success. Let's jump right into this list and be sure to stick around for all 20 so you don't find yourself in a bind on your next cruise. Number one, not researching cruise lines. Each cruise line has its own atmosphere, amenities, and target audience. There are large resort style ships that are geared towards families, luxury lines with smaller ships and a higher crew to passenger ratio for more individualized experience. Adult only lines, casual lines, and more traditional lines. It's important to research and choose which one suits your preferences. Number two, booking the wrong itinerary. Similar to booking the right line for you is making sure your itinerary is the right one for you. Ensure that the cruise itinerary aligns with your interests and includes the destinations you want to visit. One of the best ways to begin your cruise research is by deciding where you want to visit, then researching the lines and ships that visit those ports. From there, you can narrow your choice down based on preferences and budget. Number three, ignoring cabin locations. Location, location, location. Unless you can sleep through a tornado, I suggest you choose your cabin carefully. Personally, I do not think the money you can save by choosing a guaranteed cabin is worth the gamble. Those are cabins that the cruise line chooses for you based on which cabins are left over after others have booked their preferred cabins. You're going to want to avoid booking cabins near noisy areas like elevators, clubs, or the engine room. If you are prone to motion sickness, book a cabin in the middle of the ship. Lower down so you won't feel the motion as much. A good rule of thumb when choosing your cabin is to make sure you are surrounded on all sides by other cabins and not public spaces. Number four, checking cruise documents. Ensure you have all required documents like passports and cruise tickets well before departure. Be aware that you will often need to have a passport that is further than 6 months out from expiration. This is especially true if you're traveling overseas. You would hate to get to the airport and not be allowed to get on your flight to Europe because your passport is set to expire in 3 months. Number five, packing the wrong items. There are numerous cruise packing lists out there, but it is important to base what you do and don't pack on your specific cruise. Is it a casual cruise line or is it more traditional and formal? What will the weather be like in the ports of call? Be sure to check the list of prohibited items for your cruise line as well, or you may find you have your items confiscated prior to boarding. It's not just prohibited items for the ship that you need to be aware of, but also what different ports will not allow. For example, many Caribbean ports of call will not allow guests to wear camouflage of any kind because it's reserved for their military. Number six, disregarding dress codes. Some lines are stricter than others when it comes to what you are allowed to wear in the MDR and other venues, especially in the evenings. While many of the mainstream lines no longer enforce dress codes like they used to, some lines will still turn you away if you're not dressed appropriately for those venues. Most lines still have some type of formal night where guests get all dolled up for the evening, but you're going to want to check to see if the cruise line you're going on requires formal dress or if it's more of a suggestion. Number seven, not checking visa requirements. Ensure you have the necessary visas for the ports of call on your itinerary. Even if you've gone somewhere before, check to make sure there aren't any new requirements. Historically, those who are headed to Europe from the US and 60 other visa-exempt countries haven't needed anything other than a passport. Now European countries have gotten together and will be requiring a new travel authorization for US citizens to travel to Europe beginning in 2025. Number eight, not purchasing travel insurance. Unexpected events can happen and you need to invest in travel insurance to cover cancellations, medical emergencies, and other unforeseen circumstances. When looking for travel insurance, be sure to search specifically for cruise insurance. There are stories that come up all the time of people who are having to beg for money to cover a $50,000 medical flight to get home after a medical emergency. People have died due to not having travel insurance and not being able to afford that medical transport in time to get treatment. If you can't afford travel insurance, you can't afford to cruise. Number 9, not bringing power strips. While newer ships do have more outlets and even USB and USB-C hookups, most ships are lacking in outlets. And even if there are enough outlets, they may not be where you need them. Invest in a power strip with multiple types of outlets that has an extension cord and no surge protector. Now, I've heard some people say that you shouldn't bring the ones that have the cord because it might get confiscated. I've never had that happen to me. Just make sure that it's not like you're bringing an extension cord and this. Buy one that has like a 5-6 foot cord on it. Surge protectors, make sure it does not have one of those. They are not allowed on cruise ships because they can cause issues due to the ship's electrical wiring. Number 10, neglecting seasickness precautions. If you're prone to motion sickness, you will definitely want to bring a variety of remedies like pressure bands and medication until you know what works best for you. For mild cases, ginger candy, ginger drinks, and even green apples can help settle the stomach. Even if you don't normally experience motion sickness, it is better to be prepared just in case the seas get extra choppy. We're halfway through our list, which means it's a good time to ask that if you find value in this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Did you know that hitting that subscribe button doesn't cost you a thing? It really helps our channel out though, and it lets YouTube know that you like our content. Hit that notification bell so you will be notified when new videos drop so you don't miss any future posts. Number 11, not researching your embarkation port. One of the most stressful days of any cruise is embarkation day. One way of alleviating some of that stress is by knowing what to expect when you arrive at port, including how to get there and where to park. At some ports, you may need to book parking ahead of time to make sure that you can park close to the terminal. Number 12, skipping the muster drill. The safety drill is mandatory and the ship cannot sail until everyone has completed the muster drill. It is designed to familiarize passengers with emergency procedures. Most lines have switched to the e-muster, which makes it easier than ever to knock that drill out first thing and get on with your cruise. Number 13, not budgeting for extras. The average cruiser will spend the cost of their cruise all over again in extras. Cruises may seem all-inclusive, but extras like excursions, specialty dining, and gratuities can really add up. If you prepay gratuities, explore ports on your own, and stick to included food and drink, you can get by without spending another dime on the ship. However, that's not the reality for most cruisers, so do your research and budget for those extras. Number 14, this one's a doozy, not putting your phone in airplane mode. One of the most costly mistakes a cruiser can make is forgetting to put their phone in airplane mode. While out to sea, phones will connect to the maritime network, which is very costly. It is especially so if you don't realize your phone is connected and you're getting charged for every text and email that comes through. The safest thing to do is put your phone into airplane mode as soon as you board the ship. Number 15, not booking excursions in advance. Popular excursions can fill up quickly, especially if you are booking through the cruise line. Whether you choose to book through the cruise line or through a reputable excursion site, you will want to book as soon as possible to secure your spot. Number 16, not keeping track of ship time and shore time. Most cruises will visit multiple time zones, and depending on the cruise, you may either remain on ship time, which is the time of the port of departure, or you may change to local time. When we did a Western Caribbean cruise with Norwegian, we were constantly switching back and forth to adjust to local time. However, when visiting the same ports on a Carnival cruise, we remained on ship time while at port. Be sure you pay attention to announcements to know what time your ship is using so that you are on time for excursions and ship departure times. Many of those pier runners that you see are due to confusions about ship and shore time. Number 17, ignoring reviews. While I would never plan whether or not to book a cruise solely on reviews because people have very different expectations for their vacations, it is important to look at reviews to get a sense of what a cruise line is like. If all you're looking at is the cruise line's website, you're only going to see a whitewashed version of the line and its ships. Checking on reviews can give you a better sense of what to expect while on board and can help you decide which line, ship, and itinerary is best for you. Number 18, forgetting sun protection. No matter where you are cruising to, don't forget to take some sunscreen, sunglasses, and a hat of some sort. Even if you aren't going to the tropics, you're going to be on and near the water, which reflects the sun even in the winter. Pack sunscreen, hats, and sunglasses. Number 19, not taking advantage of onboard activities. Cruises offer a wide variety of activities and entertainment, which is part of what makes cruising such a perfect vacation. There is something for everyone, but to make sure you get the most out of your cruise, you want to know what all your ship has to offer. And finally, number 20, ignoring disembarkation procedures. Familiarize yourself with disembarkation procedures to ensure a smooth exit from the ship. Are you going to do assisted debarkation and let the cruise line take your luggage off for you? If so, you're not going to be among the first to leave the ship. If you're wanting to get off the ship as soon as possible and get on the road, then you're going to want to choose self-embarkation, where you take your luggage off the ship yourself. By being aware of these potential pitfalls, first-time cruisers can enhance their overall cruise experience and make the most of their vacation. Let me know in the comments which one surprised you the most. If you are a seasoned cruiser, what would you add to this list? Drop a comment below and let's discuss. I'm going to be linking several videos in the comments below that go further into the topics discussed. Be sure to check those out for further tips to make sure your next cruise is a success. Are you ready for more information on cruising? Why not stick around and check out this video on making the most out of your cruise vacation, and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.